Well, of course, there's no bigger event than the Cheltenham National Hunt Festival. It's nearly with us, and with me is AP McCoy, the champ, 3,000 winners. You've finally got past that mark. Behind us, Binocular, the horse that you're hoping on the first day in the Champion Hurdle can give you a championship success. How is the horse?
Yeah, he's in good form, Angus. He obviously worked in Kempton last week. Nicky Henderson's pretty happy with him, and he's obviously had plenty of Cheltenham Champion Hurdle winners before, so that's a good sign. His preparation from the beginning of the year, touch wood, has gone pretty good. It was always the plan just to give him the two runs, one here at Haydock and one in Ascot. And he was obviously very impressive in both races, especially at Ascot.
If you reproduce that Ascot run, he'd be very hard to beat, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I think if he turns up in Cheltenham in the form he did in Ascot, then I think he'll win.
One thing I was just thinking, it's going to be such a big field. It could be a rough race, so tactics are going to play an important part, aren't they?
Yeah, it will be a rough race. There's going to be probably a maximum field of 21 or 24. I'm not sure what it is in the Champion Hurdle, but I think there'll be the full quota. And he's actually a horse that hasn't actually he's touchwood. He's a very good jumper, but he actually hasn't had that many runs over hurdles. He had 4 last year, and he's had 2 this year. So. But as I said, that was always the plan. He's only a 5-year-old, and the plan was to mind him and get him to Cheltenham in the shape he's in.
When you get into a race with so many runners like that, when you're on the hot favourite, is there anything that's going through your mind to just avoid trouble? Are you going to be looking out for 1 or 2 horses in particular to avoid, or stay clear of them, or not?
It's hard to say. I think a lot of the horses in the Champion Hurdle that are going to be up there with the pace are going to be the fancied ones, the likes of Osana, Celestial Halo, even the likes of Brave Inca, Hardy Eustace. The ones that will be coming off from off the pace that would be dangerous to him are probably Sublimity, who won it in 207. So I think, as I said, there's going to be a lot of pace in the race, as a lot of those horses that the likes of Osana and Celestial Halo and them all look like they're going to stay further, so they'll have to make it a test, and I don't think that'll be any problem for my horse.
Would you have a chance of having a winner before the Champion Hurdle on the first day?
We'll probably ride Anama in the Supreme Novices Hurdle. Was quite impressed with Kempton first time and was disappointing last time at Kempton. But he goes there in good form. Obviously, if Cousin Vinny runs in that race, he's going to be very hard to beat. I'm going to ride Calgary Bay in the Arkle Chase. Won at Cheltenham, won the Dipper Chase there over 2.5. Has since ran very well at Ascot over 2 miles. I don't think the drop back and trip would be a problem to him. It's a very open Arkle, and I think there's a number of horses there with chances, and even though Tatton and Calgary Bay are kind of the favourites, I don't think that at the moment there's a real standout horse, so I'm hoping that Calgary Bay has a good chance.
And the rest of the week, everyone's talking about Mastermind being the biggest certainty at Cheltenham, and we haven't seen a more impressive 2-miler for a long time, have we?
Not really, and it's whether he is that much better than all the opposition, or whether there isn't actually any opposition good enough to go and take him on and beat him. Obviously in years gone by we had Chief Moscow Flyer and Azerti up in recent years, and this time around Mastermind is so far ahead of the opposition, and into the bargain he's a pretty straightforward horse to ride, and he's a pretty bomb-proof jumper, so you can't really pick holes in him or find flaws in his armour. There's not many chinks in the armour, as they say, so he if he turns up and he shows up in Cheltenham and he leaves the parade ring in one piece, then he'll win.
The Thursday's big race is the World Hurdle with Casper Bliss, who won at Haydock, a very warm favourite. But there are others, Punchestowns and Nicky Henderson's and Big Bucks. That's a great race really this year, isn't it?
Yeah, the ground might be something that I think will bring them together a lot more. I think if the ground does happen to be good on the day, I think Casper Bliss has got too much speed and probably a little bit too much class for him. He was very impressive at Haydock and has only run over hurdles. And improved all last season on the flat as well, so he's an improving horse. Big Bucks beat Punchestowns, getting £8 off him at Cheltenham in the Cleve. Good performance. I would imagine that Punchestown will probably be a sharper horse than Cheltenham, and running off level weights, it'll definitely bring them together. But I think their best chances if it rains a lot between now and then. But I think if it doesn't, I think on genuinely good ground, I think Casper Bliss is too quick.
We turn to the Gold Cup, an exotic dancer. Now, I bet you wish Cato Star hadn't quite been the horse it was, because you've been second to that far too many times. But if ever a horse deserved to win a championship Gold Cup race, it would be exotic dancer, wouldn't it?
Yeah, he's been a top performer over the years. He was lucky he won the Lexus this year in Ireland, and he's been second to Cato Star in a King George and in a Gold Cup and numerous other races as well. It's probably a more open race this year than it has been previous years, in that there is little niggles and holes in the form of some of the horses, and although Cato Star was very impressive in Kempton, he obviously had the disappointment in Haydock, and there are chances that, you know, that hopefully he's not as good as he was. Obviously Denman has had lots of problems. Neptune Collonge was impressive in Ireland last time, but had a pretty hard race. Madison de Burley beat Denman, and you've Exotic Dancer then. So I think it's probably the tightest and most open of the championship races.
Punters all get excited, the trainers all get excited. It's like Christmas, New Year, and all rolled into one Cheltenham for the jockeys, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, it's the highlight of the year. It's, you know, obviously you love racing day to day, but at the end of the day, it's a championship event. It's where everyone comes to watch, and it's where it's most important to perform, really, you know.
AP McCoy there, the man that so many of you will be relying on with Binocular, the hot favourite for the Champion Hurdle.